Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in. My name is Holiday Doc. Before we get to this amazing interview with OpTic Hex, I just want to give you guys a huge thank you for all the support we've received here on the channel. I couldn't have done it without all the help from everybody that's participated, all of our directors, media, art people. You guys are awesome, and I thank you so much. If you enjoy this content, competitive hub stuff, please feel free to subscribe if you like the content, hit the thumbs up and comment, and let us know what you guys want to see. If we ever miss something, let us know, and we'll be sure to try and bring it to you. But without further ado, I present to you an amazing interview with none other than OpTic Hex. Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Holiday Doc for the OCC. We've got a very special guest on board with us today, none other than OpTic Hex, the big man behind OpTic Gaming, and it's always a pleasure to talk to this man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you? Long time no talk.
It has been a long time. Well, not really. We keep in touch.
We did.
So big night tonight for OpTic, and a lot of controversy surrounding this whole online deal. And I really wanted to get the big opinion from the big man himself on what's going on, how's the team coping, and what are the big plans for the team in general. Now, I don't want to dwell on certain things because we all know this game is played not only online but in LAN, and I think there's so much more to this game and a lot we have to cover. So I brought you on board. Let's go right into it, man.
Well, I always touch base with my team, right? I'm very good at asking them whether things are rolling smoothly or not. And I asked them today. I'm like, right after the match, I'm like, how are you guys feeling? Like, we're good. I always hear one word back from them: land. And it makes me comfortable, right?
Yes.
Because if you think about it, if you go back to UMG, right before UMG, OpTic and the new squad with Nation, we're losing every single scrim,
Yeah.
map after map, scrim after scrim against every single team out there. And you saw the chat. There was a couple of haters, better with Rambo, Nate Shoke or Nate Shot, Shoke Shot, whatever the fuck they wanted to call him. Nonstop. It was nonstop. Hate, hate, hate. Come UMG though, LAN, it was a completely different story, a completely different team, and that's because people play differently on LAN. Rookie teams who have never competed on LAN are not gonna be used to the fans, the green wall, or any other team supporters from other teams screaming at them.
I love the green wall reference right there. That's big because it really does get under your skin if you're a new team that's never participated, and all of a sudden you're going up against OpTic and you've got 30 people in OpTic shirts screaming at you.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
It is a big deal, and again, it's part of this whole component of Call of Duty competitive, right? Because now that there's going to be a lot, there's been, but now that it's back and there's a live component to this, to this scene and this competition, there's going to be a lot of people who are not going to be used to performing in front of other people, right? And those who are seasoned veterans, right? We have Complexity, we have obviously NBM is looking amazing. And there's the rest of the teams out there, like Farico, etc. And they're gonna do really good. Fear's looking amazing. I mean, that I am very confident in saying that all the top teams that are top teams are gonna be in the top, unless obviously someone gets the usual screw. But I'm confident in my team. I'm not worried.
100%, and that just goes back to saying, online is online. There's much more to really think about what's going on when teams are battling it out online, not to mention the best of three situation that not a lot of people are very happy about. Uh, but this, I just want to touch back on what you said about veteran teams, and UMG was a big example of this because, every time we got shots of teams and people playing on stage, you could really tell just by their facial expressions, sorry, on who the comfortable players are on a LAN setting.
Mm-hmm.
OpTic shows up, Complexity shows up, and these guys treat a LAN like they're playing in their bedroom. It's second nature to them, and that is a huge dynamic to competitive Call of Duty as well. Something that I don't feel is really talked about all that much.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one thing that OpTic has is not only their individual team chemistry and just their online presence, transfers over to their in-person presence where they're just so comfortable with each other. They sit down, they play their game that they know how to play, and that's that.
Yeah, and I think if you notice, I don't know if you look back at our previous tournament shows, etc. Up until UMG, there has never been an occasion where my team has gotten so riled up at the end that they get up out of their seats and just scream at the other team. We are not that team. We've
Hmm.
never been that team. This time, however, there was so much pressure on the team and on Nate Shot that it was just an explosion of just relief, happiness, everything. Right? We made a tough decision that in the end turned out to be the right decision, right? And we're hoping that we're going to continue to prove that OpTic Gaming is a top contender team, if not, definitely the best. It's going to be a tough season for everyone because everyone
Yes.
is doing good. But again, these people that are so comfortable in their jammies playing online warrior Call of Duty is not going to be the same because you're not going to be screaming the way you scream online because the people that you're screaming about are right across from you. And
Yeah.
they're going to give you that look. And you're going to be intimidated, or you're going to intimidate someone. At the end of the day, it is a completely different setting. It is not the same.
I couldn't agree with you more. I just wanted to get your opinion real quick on this best of three and the whole online qualifiers in general. Do you feel like MLG missed the ball like big time when they didn't consider best of threes or best of fives rather? Sorry.
Yes, I do. But at the same time, there's so many teams that you want to get through. They have a schedule to maintain, obviously with the streaming, etc. But I think that best of three is never a good idea, and it's never a good idea when it's online. You're throwing two monkey wrenches into the mix, right? You can't have online and best of three. Anything can happen, as you're seeing, right? How many top teams have already been knocked down into losers bracket
Oh,
and are in
yeah.
danger of, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's what it is. It's unfortunate, but like anything else, this is a new process, and when you're starting something new, you're gonna hit some bumps, and I think that this is gonna be a learning experience for both MLG and Activision. I think that once the first MLG is done, I think that there's gonna be a lot of changes. We're myself and other team owners are gonna be pushing pretty hard for some of the petitions,
Yeah,
to.
traditionally you've been consulted quite a bit from MLG. What changed going into Black Ops 2 here? How come it didn't seem like the relationship was the same?
In what sense exactly?
Well, it felt like your presence was noted a lot more at MLG in Black Ops 1. Like you were consulted, like at least from the outside looking in. Obviously, I don't know details, but it seemed like you were always there or in the mix or in the conversations. This game, it feels like you've almost been left out of it.
Not necessarily. I've had several conversations with several people, but at the same time, it's not going to be ultimately up to one person. It's going to be up
Yeah.
to the community to rise up. Just because I'm in this particular position and I have this particular following, it doesn't mean that it weighs on my shoulders only, right? When like for example, when they changed the rule from 18 to 17, that was completely had nothing to do with me. Although people gave me credit for it, and thank you, but that wasn't me.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but at the same time, it's like the game is going to evolve eventually. If there's a team out there that is 13 years old, a team full of 13-year-olds, and they are demolishing everyone, and it's entertaining, guess what? Changes are going to happen for the betterment of the Call of Duty. People are so selfish that just focus on themselves in this era. Us, and I'm including myself in the whole, in the community of people that want this to grow. We don't focus on what's happening today. We're focusing on what's going to happen 2 years from now, what's going to happen 3 years from now, what's happening right now to individuals. Of course they're going to care because it's them, but we're here to do the best for Call of Duty as an esport as opposed to just for your particular team at that particular time. It makes no sense. We need this to be a staple in esports, not just a bonus game that sometimes
Mm,
gets thrown in.
not a 1 year fad in
Right.
and out.
Right. And going into MLG open bracket, it's still gonna be it's gonna be interesting on both sides. Obviously, for those who are going into open bracket, they're gonna have to play on split screen if they keep to what they used to be. And it's best of three as well. So But the good thing is, from what I've heard and you just told me, is that the people that are the top 12 are not going to get to compete until Saturday, which
Yes.
obviously gives them a disadvantage because they're not going to be warmed up. You can warm up all you want in the pro player lounge, but it's not going to be the same as being mentally prepared as you have been grueling through this whole open bracket,
Oh yeah.
play after play after. You're going to be super warmed up. So it's going to be an interesting thing from both sides.
Yes, just going right on that. Teams are going to come out of open bracket completely on fire. Your
Mm-hmm.
hype is there, your momentum is there, and you're going to be playing what I expect to be a completely cold team. A team that's just getting warmed up, hasn't really got their feet wet, and sat around all day Friday. Like, that's a huge dynamic for MLG to be thrown in here kind of last minute. And I just, I'm very curious on what the other teams are thinking right now. There was some speculation just going in here real quick on the online qualifiers whether people even want to be seed number one. Do you really want to be the first place team to hit the very first open bracket team, or do you want to place more in the middle or towards the end? And those are some big decisions that teams, have been talking about on Twitter. I'm not sure if they would actually follow through with that. I don't know if that would be against the rules to throw a game or not, but it's something that could happen.
Yeah, I don't think we're there yet. I don't think as a scene and as a esport, I don't think we're mentally prepared to make those sort of calculations yet. I think that the people that play the game are just gonna play the game when they're gonna play to win every single time. I don't think that they throw a game. And especially veteran teams, they understand the importance of keeping hot. They understand the importance of winning. You don't want to risk it. You don't sacrifice just to sacrifice. You
Hmm.
try to keep the numbers on your side at all times because that's your best advantage.
Last thing I'm going to bother you before we cut this is online league qualifiers for the World Championship or the $1 million tournament. This is a extremely sore topic in a lot of big teams
Hmm.
because you know it just seemed like it was unorganized and
Hmm.
rules were just being thrown together
Hmm.
last minute. You've talked to OpTic. We watched OpTic do their 24-hour stream and come to the realization that it's just not going to work.
Yeah,
And it
it's
was a good run. It was entertaining to watch these guys go in and absolutely decimate teams. Uh, but on the same regard, it almost seemed like league play took us back from competitive another step, where it was more random or who could abuse the system rather than who's the best top eight teams.
right. I don't know. I am disappointed a little bit with it because of the way it's been managed, the way it's from the get go, this has all been a learning process for both Treyarch, Activision, MLG, and our community, right? We is the first time we've ever included kill streaks in high competitive gameplay. But at the same time, it's a learning process. For the betterment of Call of Duty esports, we're gonna have to give things a shot. If something's
Mm-hmm.
not working, why are we gonna continue to do it, right? We have to try something new. Am I happy with the way things turn out? No. Am I happy with the fact that we're not clear on whether or not that they're going off of points, off of wins, off of dashboards? What are they? Well, there absolutely no.
Dashboards, yeah.
There's absolutely no specific rule, and this is kind of BS in my opinion because this gives Treyarch and Activision the opportunity and leaves them open to do whatever the fuck they want. And pardon my French, but I'm very passionate about this, right? Because they can literally say, well, we were going off of how many times you captured, how many teams actually played the objective, how many flags were captured, how many, hard points were taken. That's what we were, how many bombs planted. That's what we weren't going off of kills or points. Points had nothing to do with this. Show me where it says that it's about points. That's exactly what they're going to say if they choose to, because they are very smart and they are a very, very talented company. Obviously, they're very successful, so
Mm-hmm.
they're legally sound, right? They know how to leave themselves open to change whatever it is they want to change at the last minute without consulting with anyone. It is what it is what they're going to tell you, and you either like it or you don't. But saying that and having said that, so you guys understand that I'm not on their side, or it's at least we have something. guys. Okay, I know we can't always get what we want, right? They say beggars can be choosers. For Modern Warfare 3, we begged. Please put it on the circuit. Please put it on the circuit. And well, guess what? They didn't do it. At least we have something now. At least now we've gone through this wall, right? Well, we soon will. In a couple of weeks, we will. We're gonna punch through this first wall, right? Whoever goes through the wall first gets hit the hardest, is what they say. So, it's a learning experience, guys. I think that we just gotta roll with it. Gotta see what happens, and gotta do our best as a community to be respectful, to continue to please not be the little douchebags that you are. You know who you are, because you are one, and you've been one, and you look at yourself in the mirror, and you probably call yourself one. Keep it off of Twitter. If you have something to address to someone, write them a letter. If you don't know how to write, tell your teammate to write it for you. Be polite. You're never, ever, ever going to get something that you want by calling a developer a douchebag. Mm-hmm. Getting on Vonderhaar's Twitter and talking shit to him is the most ridiculous shit ever. He makes the game. He is not PR. He is not the public relations person. He doesn't have to talk to you. He doesn't have to have a Twitter. He is the developer for the game. Who is the lead developer of Modern Warfare 3 for Infinity Ward? Do you know?
No idea.
Exactly. Okay. At least this guy has his ear to the ground and his ear to our community and is listening to us. Give the dude a break.
I agree with you, but I also feel like us, I don't mean us, but I think our top community, the top organizations, and the top players need a forum of some sort, and not a forum as in a forum, but a way to communicate their frustrations, because it really seems like, I don't know if you caught this tweet or the interview or anything, but it seems like the only time that the people get heard is when things eventually boil over the top, and then ultimately it's too late. You can't control the anger from some of these extremely passionate people, and it just hurts us in the end.
Bro, nobody is more. I mean, I'm sure there are people, right? But I am just as passionate about this as anybody else out there, right? I could have kept making YouTube videos and been a happy dude, okay? I could have just concentrated on that and been. I didn't even have to consider or want to get involved in competitive Call of Duty, but it was in my blood from the get-go. Mm-hmm. I didn't have to, but I did it because I'm passionate about it, right? But still, even when I get angry, even when my emotions are running high, and I'm a very heated individual when I'm there, I still keep it off of Twitter. I still keep my composure, and I know that a lot of kids are young, right? But when you're old enough to know what's right and what's wrong, what's polite and what's impolite, and it's unfortunate, right? But again, like anything else, it's a learning experience for everyone, and we're just gonna have to deal with it for now, and hopefully they'll hear us. And I can guarantee you that David Vonderhaar has told his company, get a fucking PR person. I'm not a PR person, but I'll continue to do it because I care about my game. Okay? Yeah. Tell me how many times you spoke to a guy from Infinity Ward. Because 402 was talking to the regular Joes, which there's nothing wrong with.
Yeah. It's, yeah.
You have in front of you before it gets taken away.
Well, it's always an absolute pleasure to talk to you. You have a lot of insight. You're a wonderful part of the community that keeps us strong and keeps the game going. And, a lot of organization owners, team owners, and people in general really need to take what you've established and built and make it their own and try to just build off of what you've accomplished, because it's a very successful way to do business here in Call of Duty esports. So with that being said, we're going to call this a wrap. It was obviously, again, a pleasure, and I can't thank you enough for taking the time. Mm-hmm. And if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, make sure you leave them in the section down below. And this is the Online Codcaster channel, where we try to bring everything Call of Duty esports related to you in a timely fashion. So thanks again. I'm Holiday Doc, and I'm out.
This has been OpTic. Green Wall, let's go!